What's up, guys? Sean here, coming at y'all with a quick little video. Going to be going over some NBA news today. A lot going on. Draft coming up tomorrow. I was trying to do a Sixers profile video and put out kind of a draft prospect thing. I kind of got lost in the top 10, lost with guys that we'll probably never have a chance of getting. So we're just going to cover some NBA news today. Tomorrow we'll live stream the draft. We'll go over the picks one by one, watch some highlights, check them out, see what everybody's getting. But first, if you're new here, please like, please subscribe. I appreciate all you guys for coming back again and again. All the comments, all the love. It's much appreciated. Let's get right into it. So we're not going to cover everything today, just some stuff that stuck out, caught my eye. Reigning champion New York Knicks assessed their trade options for pick 24 and 31 in this week's NBA draft. Sources say reserve guard Jose Alvarado has agreed to move the decision date on his $4.5 million player option for the 2026-27 from tomorrow, June 22nd to June 26th. So basically all he's doing here is if they get a trade, they can get some picks for next year, maybe get another player. They're going to go for that, and then they're going to make a decision based on what's best for him after the fact. Rather than making a decision, them regretting it, him regretting it, they're working together to figure something out long term. Pretty popular thing to do with players who kind of stay in the mid-level exception, the lower end. For him, he was great when they needed him the most. Definitely could have done a little bit more in the finals. But overall, a solid player, good player for them, someone they're looking to keep. So obviously they're going to play things out the right way, and then they're going to do right by him. Just the team and the player working together here. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. If he does become available, I imagine there'll be quite a few teams that are interested. Obviously, he's looking to stay with the Knicks just because of how things went last year. Try to build on that, try to grow from that. It'll be interesting to see what he does moving forward. The Houston Rockets, a little bit of a surprise here. They're reportedly willing to listen on trade offers for their all-star players. Rival teams that have contacted the Rockets recently have been informed that their 23-year-old Amen Thompson is the only near untouchable player on the roster. League sources told Yahoo Sports. Houston isn't actively shopping its all-stars or key members, source said, but they're merely expressing more of a willingness to listen than at previous junctions. This isn't really that big of a surprise. Last year was kind of underwhelming. I imagine when they say all-stars, they're talking about Kevin Durant. They're talking about probably Fred VanVleet. I don't think he's ever been an all-star, but they're definitely looking to get out from underneath that contract to give them some flexibility. I don't imagine that Sengun's going to go anywhere. Thompson, Jabari Smith would be a surprise. I don't imagine any of those three going anywhere. Now, it is interesting that they put this out here because they are valuable pieces around the league. Now, sure, the center didn't play as good, Sengun, however you say it. He didn't play as good last year as he could have. 3-point percentage was awful. Just didn't look like he was ever really comfortable in the team in a lot of the games. Jabari Smith, kind of a big stretch, rebounding defense guy. And Thompson, obviously, they have very high hopes for him. They expect him to just continue to grow and get better and better. Now, with that being said, what are these guys realistically going to get traded for? Because you think some of the top tier teams might trade them for picks and some salary filler. You imagine the Rockets want to stay competitive, so they're not just going to take any deals, but if the deal makes sense and it's a great deal for one of these players, it really makes you wonder what they'd be willing to do. And again, even with Amen Thompson, it said near untouchable. So that means that pretty much everybody on their team is available for the right deal. Now, I don't expect all these guys to get traded. I don't expect Houston to completely blow it up and reshape the team. But depending on who's valuable, what the other teams think of the guys on their team, maybe someone comes at them with a crazy offer. With Giannis being traded, Jaylen Brown possibly being traded, a lot of other guys, a lot of other moving pieces around the league. The Lakers are looking to get better. Obviously, everyone's looking to get better, but certain teams will make those moves. It's definitely interesting to see who's going to end up with some of these guys or how many of them come back to the Rockets, because before KD got there, it looked like they had an amazing core. He really looked like the missing piece, just that little bit extra scoring. This year, obviously, did not go the way they had hoped. Looked good early and then kind of fell off. I know KD got hurt. I know injuries around the team, but they were never really making that much noise with the way the West played out this year. So really interesting to see what they do moving forward. A little bit earlier today, Trae Young intends to sign a 4-year, approximately $212 million deal to stay with the Washington Wizards with a player option in year 4. Sources tell ESPN the 4-time NBA All-Star declined his $49 million player option for a long-term commitment ahead of free agency. This isn't too surprising. He declined the option. A lot of people were thinking, oh, is he just going to go find what he can get on free agency? Is he going to test his worth? It was never really a question. The Wizards didn't do everything they did not to at least try things with him for a year. They were always going to pay him. That's why it's a 3-year deal with an option at the end. I expect this to work out for maybe a year or two. Now, from Washington's standpoint, they obviously think that Trae Young can do something big for them, having Anthony Davis, having some of the young players they have. I will believe it when I see it. I've watched Washington have all the talent in the world and never make nothing of it. Never been the biggest Trae Young fan, although he is a bucket. He's really good at dropping dimes on people, getting assists, just not a great defender, kind of streaky. So it'll be interesting to see how this year goes with him, but this was never really that big of a surprise. Heading into the Giannis side of things, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. The Miami Heat don't want to gut their roster and draft capital for Giannis. Obviously, what's the point in trading for him? If you got the whole team, then you just have Bam and Giannis, and then who's playing point guard at that point? While the 3-time All-Star Bam Adebayo is the only Heat player truly off the table in trade discussions, the Heat don't want to gut its team and draft capital in the deal. So this is not surprising. Now, what this does tell you is that the Celtics are much more of a front runner than people think. The Heat have the best long-term package for Giannis. The Celtics have the best now package for Giannis. I think that's really what it's going to boil down to. Now, is there other teams that are going to come out of nowhere with all these reports dropping? Probably. It seemed like this morning the Giannis trade was going to happen any minute, and then it's kind of stalled out today. It's been quiet. Draft coming up tomorrow. Do they already have a plan in place, or are we all just waiting? I think there's going to be some surprises. I don't think there's any way in hell this is just a 2-team deal. It has been done. It's not impossible, but there's no way other teams don't leak into this deal and start circulating players throughout, especially if the Heat are giving up as much as they are to get Giannis in the first place. They're going to have to bring players in from other places. So maybe they get Giannis and Kuzma and a couple other guys, and they're able to flip those guys for picks, rotational players, stuff like that. Who knows? But the way it looks right now, Boston is definitely in the front when it comes to having packages ready that Milwaukee is going to look at and go, okay, I can build with that. Say what you will about Jaylen Brown. He carried the Celtics this year with a gutted roster. I have no doubts that he couldn't carry a gutted Milwaukee team as well. With that being said, they'll probably never make any postseason noise, but I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again. I think that's the smartest move right now, and that's probably what we'll see happen. This is obviously all the same stuff. Shams Charania reports the Milwaukee Bucks superstar is expected to be traded before Tuesday night's draft with the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat in serious discussions. Boston's package centers around Jaylen Brown, picks Hugo Gonzalez, while Miami offers Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Jacquez Jr., and the number 13 pick. The Bucks, fresh off early playoff exit, despite pairing Giannis with Dame Lillard, demand premium values as he enters his age 32 season with 1 year left on his deal. He's going to get traded. We're done with the Giannis Bucks part of his life. He's going to go somewhere else. I think it's insane value for someone who is hurt as much as he was last year, but at the same time, when Giannis is healthy and he's at his best, he's absolutely a freak. He's a game wrecker. Now, the only time that they won a championship and the only time they really sniffed a championship was with Holiday and with all the help in the world, it seemed like a center who could shoot. Can Giannis really drag another team back, especially if it's a gutted team like Miami? Can he share the floor with Jason Tatum? Can they make that work in a year before the playoffs start? Can they actually make some noise? It's all to be seen, but for right now, this is pretty much where we're at, and if anything happens, I'll keep you guys updated. So that's pretty much it for right now, guys. As more news comes in, we'll do more stuff. We'll do more videos, shorts. I'm obviously expecting the Giannis trade anytime now. Of course, it'll probably happen as soon as I upload this video, but that's just how things work. It'll be exciting to see if more teams get involved. Is there a surprise team? Is the Heat's offer really just a sham just to get other people interested? Are the Celtics actually willing to move Jaylen Brown after the year he had for them and after everything that was done there? Yes, the end of the year they fell flat on their face, but they expected nothing this season. So makes you wonder if the Celtics are just jumping on a deal because it's there. Is that a bad decision for them? Will it affect them in years to come? The Celtics haven't had super amazing success bringing in Kyrie, bringing in some of the other high-value names, but they have won a championship recently. They have had success. They're a very lucky team. They draft well. So I expect it to work out for them no matter what they do. Them with Giannis and Jason Tatum is absolutely terrifying. I think them and the Knicks would be the absolute 1 and 2 this year coming up, and all the other teams would just be a roll of the dice. How does the ball fall? How do your threes land throughout the year? And how do your best guys play is going to be the only thing that really gives anybody else a chance. But they'll definitely be the top heavy favorites this year coming if that's the deal that gets done. If he goes to Miami, it's less scary because Miami kind of doesn't have anything left. With that being said, they always find undrafted guys. They find these guys who you didn't think were going to be players, and then they turn them into players. So do they think that they can do that in the next year or two while they still have a window with Giannis? I don't see the point in bringing in a superstar if you need 2 years to build. If that's the case, I'd wait for someone to hit free agency, wait for the money to start flowing in a little better, but that's just me. Tell me what you guys think. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and make sure to tune in for the next one. Peace.